Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City on iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Chanel Omari, and I have a very special guest here today at Too Much Content Studio. Shout out to them. Shout out to Ani Moosh, Irish O'Neill. What up, what up? They're my producers. I love them. We wouldn't be here without them. So I have a very special guest that I want to introduce you guys to. He's my friend. He is the president of operations at one of the hottest comedy clubs in the world, okay, and number one in New York City, New York Comedy Club. And he's the producer of one of the hottest comedy shows in New York at New York Comedy Club called Metaverse. And we're going to get into that because it's a really cool concept. He's an entrepreneur. He's hot. He's smart. He's funny. He's all the things. He's single too, I think. Just don't slide into his DMs until I approve. Please help me welcome my dear friend, Brian Morton, to the building. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me on. I feel like this is following up you getting in People magazine, having me on after. That's like...
Isn't that epic?
It's wild.
Well, you're a legend. Well, let's talk about like why I feel like you're a legend. And I'm just going to gas you up this whole podcast, by the way. So are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, to be the president of operations at one of the hottest... So New York Comedy Club, for everyone who doesn't know, which I'm sure everyone knows, is one of like the best clubs in the world right now for every comic to perform at and just either work at. And it's just, you guys have built like the brand and taken it to the next level. But especially you've come on board to change the whole dynamic with the social media and like growing the social media, growing the platform, the brand, the comics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so like talk to us about
I'm trying
that.
to do everything. So yeah, I mean,
you're like, that's why I'm a president, bitch. What do you think the title is for?
For me, it's mostly like when they approached me about taking the job, I just saw where there were holes and see where I can improve. It was always like a great operation. Since I met Emilio from New York Comedy Club, one of the owners, in 2015, and since then it's been a great club. They have great talent. They've just put on awesome shows all the time. The staff has always been great. Yeah. And now I come in and like, I think a lot of times, you know, when people enter a business as whatever, they're coming in as a higher up, you know, I came in and there was, I don't know, 25 people under me, 30 people under me already that had already worked there a long time. So it's like, how do I fit into this? Yes. And in my head, I'm like, okay, what can I do? I don't want to come in and be like, oh, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. That's not how I work. I'd rather just try to see what I can improve. And when I was originally approached about the job, I wrote out like a list of probably 15 things that I saw. I'm like, this is where you guys are lacking and this is what I can help. And then, you know, so I always get credited with social media stuff, and it's always funny to me because like, I'm not like a big social media person, but I understand the value of it, especially for performers and creating your own brand and creating your own following. So I've always just pushed it on comics. And then eventually I started doing it for clubs and I just got better at it and I just started studying it. So it's something I do kind of like now, you know, it's fun to try to help comedians with their careers and just try to push them forward. Yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, like you've helped me, you've helped a bunch of comedians just figure out how to put yourself out there and separate yourself apart from everyone. Yeah. And I think you're one of the most important guests on the podcast because everyone always asks me.
You are gassing me up, goddamn.
Oh yeah, I love gassing people. Where's my fucking? No one gasses me up. Fuck you, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
I gas you up, girl.
Yeah, Annie does gas. She's like, you could do it. You're great, and I'm like, I hate myself. No, but I think it's important because everybody asks me too, like, how do you set yourself apart in comedy, right? And how do you get your act out there? And I think social media nowadays is the number one. And so for you to encourage that, a lot of times back in the day, clubs didn't encourage that. You know, there is like that taboo thing where I think clubs want to own the talent, and where you guys are cool is that you let your talent
there's no ownership of talent.
There's no okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Comics are free agents and they'll always be free agents. As soon as you start trying to put like ownership on anything like that, it ends up like fucking up. So to me, like we all work together, you know, whether it's social media, whether it's making an album, whether it's making a special, you know, I've been a part of like 7 specials, maybe 8 specials since I've been here. And
that's so cool.
I've been here 9 months.
Wow. So, and you just did Chris Stefano's special, which is really cool.
Yeah. We shot 2 with him, which is interesting. We shot one at New York Comedy Club, and then we shot a second special, which is the one they ended up choosing. We did that at the Gramercy Theater, and Homeless Pimp directed and edited it, and it came out great. I was just there, you know, just doing whatever they needed.
I was just there, you know, just spreading my magic.
Whatever they needed me to do. I was selling merch, you know, I was helping Chris wherever he needs.
That's great. But you see, that mentality, I think, is the mentality to success, where you're like, it's teamwork. It's not it's not about me. I'm not going to take the credit if my whole team works hard. It's, I think that's a good mentality to have.
I had a boss that always said, like, I won't take credit for the good stuff as long as you don't make fun of me for the bad stuff. So,
I like that. That's that's a good merch T-shirt.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, like,
I like
I'm not going
that.
to take credit for the good shit as long as, like, the bad shit I don't get credit for either.
Yeah. What I love that. Yeah, as long as you don't blame me. I feel like I always get blamed for like the little, like, bad shit, and then like the good stuff people overlook. I mean, that's a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's easier to focus on bad.
It's easier to focus on that. Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like
my first bad memory.
Mental health. Yeah, he's like my first bad memory. This situation right now. What you're doing to me. Thank you. So yeah, no, I mean, I feel like, oh my God, is there water? Thanks. Great. Let me just take
I made it appear.
You really did. I did not see that. That was like magic. But like mental health, because like this podcast also is a lot about mental health. I mean, you're also in a high pace, like high pressure situation where you have to deliver, right? You have to produce a good special. It's on you. I mean, how do you cope? Like, how do you cope with your mental health when that happens? Like right
I think
before
that's
a special?
always a balance. I think it's just with everything. It's not even just about a special or pressure or anything like that. It's just mental health is something that I've always struggled with. It's something that's, surrounded me since I was younger and with my family and things like that. So different things help, I walk a lot. That's something I've been like doing a lot lately.
Does that help? And my therapist told me to do that. And
I love it. Like I'm doing like 7 miles a day. So it might be like a little insane, but it helps me like just balance everything. And I think a lot while I'm walking so that, I read Austin Kleon. He's like a self-help, but for creatives. And he talked a lot in his book, forget which one. He has a 3-book thing, but it's like Steal Like an Artist is the most famous one. But I think it was in his second book. He talked a lot about walking, and so then I've just been walking a lot. Like I average I think 6 miles a day this month.
That's sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's like yesterday I walked like 11 miles. So it's just like
you feel like it helps you, like
100%.
So if like you're upset or angry and you do that walk, do you feel different?
I'll do my Zoom meetings while walking.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Every time I get angry at someone, I should just start walking and fucking be like, you know what, you want to FaceTime now? Let's FaceTime now. Let's just do it.
Yeah, I think that is, it's physical exercise in general. It's whatever you find that you like for physical exercise, I think definitely helps with mental health. Mm-hmm. I'm not an expert by any means, so that's just something that I've found for me. And it's just trying to learn about it and constantly trying to take in information. It's just like dieting. It's like anything. The more you learn about it, the more you'll understand it and the more you can help yourself.
I love that. No, for real. Like lately I've been talking to a lot of people about, what can you do to not be impulsive, in the moment and like act a little psycho, right? Like whether you're going through a breakup or you're mad at your employer or you're just not happy at your job or you had a bad set. I feel like there's been moments where I've had a bad set and I didn't know how to control my anger or control like what I'm feeling at the moment, right? Because they're all a bunch of emotions. So that's interesting. Like doing the walk.
I think figuring out why you're angry is big.
That's
figuring out
big.
the why of what you're feeling. Digging into it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Even though it sucks to do that, but
of course.
It's really good to do that. That's a good tip.
Yeah, well, then you end up, because a lot of times you figure out, like, you blame yourself or you blame other people, and then you're just angry, and then it gives you a different, even like, somebody else could have not done something, but you think they did, so then you have a different perspective on them. So it's just like trying to figure out why you're actually angry.
That's really good. I like that.
Or sad, or whatever emotion you're feeling.
Right.
Try to figure out.
Or you want to murder your ex-boyfriend in your basement. No, I'm just kidding.
You got a basement?
No,
That's
I don't.
Cool.
I do have I do have a basement.
Like
no, not in the city though. Not in the city yet. I don't got that podcast.
I don't care about you murdering your ex. It's like, I'm impressed that you have a basement.
I know. He's like, when can I sign up? No, I'm kidding. Please, we're gonna have to edit that out. God forbid. I would never murder anyone. Are you kidding? No, just kidding. Okay. Okay, the basement.
This turns into a true crime podcast.
This literally. Did Chanel do it? Where did Brian go after the podcast? I know he was with her last time we saw him. So interesting because you also come from the background, like you said, from Zanies, right? And Laugh Factory, Chicago.
Yep.
I love Chicago. What got you into comedy? Like, what made you want to go into this industry?
So I started to become obsessed with it this goes back to mental health a little bit. in 2009, my stepdad committed suicide, and it obviously when something like that happens, maybe not obviously.
I'm
people
so
that
sorry,
don't
by
know.
the way.
Thank you. It drives like a crazy wedge in your family, and it just kind of like it's very, you're trying to just figure out what the fuck happened, and I was in the military at the time, and I was living with 3 people that weren't in the military. And a lot of times we would spend time watching Seth Rogen movies and like Judd Apatow movies. And I rented, just out of the blue, I rented 2 comedy specials, and I showed them to my roommates. And they were like, this is stupid. Why would we watch this? And then they watched it and they loved it. And me watching them love it made me really like stand-up comedy. So then I started bringing people to stand-up comedy shows. So that was in Ohio, and I was living in Dayton, but I'd go to the Columbus Funny Bone a lot. And then I started going, I moved to Chicago probably like less than a year later, and then I started going, there's a show there called Comedians You Should Know. There's one here in New York too, but it started in Chicago. It's a legendary room. I think they started in like 2008. I don't know if you know Mike Leibowitz.
I've heard of him.
So
Yeah.
Mike's like he lives in New York now, or Drew Michael, he's like another guy that started it. Marty DeRosa, there's Joe Kagan, there's a bunch of comics that started it. And it was $5 on Wednesday. So I would just I was in culinary school at the time. So I would bring my class all the time there. Like we would go I was
so
like,
cool. You had so many like lives, I feel.
I know.
Military, culinary, damn.
Yeah.
Your catch. Okay, yeah, go on. I'm like, I am sizing you up. Okay, just kidding.
No, so I was like in love with it, and I would just go all the time. And then I stopped in culinary, and I was like, what do I really want to do? So I befriended in like 2010. I befriended Joey Diaz, the comedian Joey Diaz.
Love him.
And we would talk on the phone quite a bit. And he was like, you love this. He's like, why don't you go towards it? He's like, everybody that is in comedy, they're all like, TGI Friday waiters. They don't really like want to be in this. They're just doing it. He's like, you love it. You should try to get into it. So then I looked on Craigslist, and the Laugh Factory was hiring for security. And when I was in the military, I was a cop, which I don't tell people because they get mad right now. But I only became a cop because I had to.
That's
I didn't
so
want to be
cool.
a cop. But sure. But
He's like, I really didn't try to be a cop, guys. Don't hate on me.
Yeah, for real. So I am a bastard, but for other reasons. But so I approached it with like, this is my security background. Like, you guys should hire me. So they did. Luckily, Emily Keck, she was the GM at the time. She hired me, and I just immediately. It was actually like my least favorite club in Chicago. Like, I didn't like it there. I went there for like 3 shows, and the sound was all fucked up. Like, I just didn't feel like the staff had it together. There was like a lot of shit where I was like, and it was a brand new club. The club opened in 2012, in like August of 2012, and I started in December of 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was, pretty soon after they opened. They were only doing 3 nights, maybe 4 nights a week, maybe 1 show a night, 2 shows on Saturday, maybe. Like, they weren't doing well. And I came in, and I gave them, I think they thought I was fucking crazy because my first like 3 weeks there, I gave them a list of Chicago comedians that they weren't booking, that they should be booking. And they're like, who the fuck are you? Like, there was just like little shit. Like, they used to like, I remember they used to have like a TV at the bar where they would show comedians on it. And like Cat Williams was K-A-T instead of K-A-T-T. It was just like little shit like that.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, why?
That would irk me.
The little attention to detail shit that I was just like focused on. And so after like 4 months, I became a night manager there. And then Emily ended up leaving, and Curtis, who is the president of Laugh Factory Chicago, he became the president, and then he asked me to be the GM. So then we were like basically just a great partnership, and then we made it. I mean, I think there's no other club like it because it's a showcase club. It's in the Midwest, and there's no other showcase clubs really in the Midwest. And we made it a 7 a night a week viable showcase club where people can get good, and it's a 350 seat room. It's big.
Wow.
So,
And were you involved in developing the talent, or just picking talent, let's say like people from New York that you knew that people in Chicago didn't know of?
Definitely did that. Like,
Totally.
I mean, I remember my first 6 months there, Ari Shaffir came because I knew him through Joey.
Love him. He's one of my favorites, him and Joey.
Yeah,
both.
he was actually the first comedian I ever saw live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in 2010. 2009. And so Ari, I brought like Brody Stevens. There was like a bunch of just different comics that I had met throughout like time, just as a fan, that I ended up connecting with, and then bringing them in like when they were on the road or whatever, they would stop by. And then like I ran the open mic, so I did the open mic for probably 3.5 years there.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a couple shows that I produced. There's still like I think 2 shows that I produced are still going on there that I created. But Curtis was the main booker, so he booked all the stuff. I did a lot on the other side of it, like with the staffing, the alcohol purchasing, things like that. So I did a lot of that side, but we both worked together on everything. So it was a great, honestly, like that was the best partnership I've ever had in business. I think in 6 years we argued 5 times.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was, anytime we argued, it was just about the betterment of the club. It wasn't that like any personal, we never have any like personal beef. It's great. Like,
Well, that's also like important. Yeah, I think when you're co-producing with someone or partnering up with someone, like, what's your advice, I think, with other people out there, especially in comedy, because we all co-produce with each other. Like, what's your advice to
communicate?
Communicate. But what if, and if communication doesn't work sometimes?
It has to.
It has to.
Yeah,
I have to back you up on that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what it's about?
As a producer, too, I feel like a lot of comics, like, communicating off stage is sometimes not
difficult.
Yeah,
of course.
So you have to work on that.
Well, because
We're all socially awkward, too, a lot of times.
A lot of comedians are actually introverts, like,
and they're not good with
which
confrontation.
is okay,
Yeah,
but knowing
yeah.
how to communicate as an introvert
Yeah.
is super important.
Yeah, that should be the next podcast. You just bring on, producers to talk about their shit.
Yeah, because
let's
like there's a lot of drama.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of therapy.
Have a referee.
Ani can be the referee.
Yeah.
Because like I co-produce with some people and they're friends of mine, and then that becomes it could also be right. It could be the betterment of the friendship. So it's interesting that you didn't let that get in the way. And like you said, we always cared about the better of the show, and I think that's what's important at the end of the day.
Like we put Chicago comedy on our back. We're like and this club that people thought was a joke, and we just fucking killed it. I mean, I hate to like brag.
No,
like that,
you have
but,
to
like,
though.
We really like Curtis. It's still like you go there and it's still a fucking great club. Like, and so many good comics come from there. And I know, like, just an example, this comic Alex Dragovich, he was here last week visiting, and Amy, the booker for New York Comedy Club, was like, do you know Alex? And I'm like, yeah, because I've watched Alex kill in front of 350 people, I know he will do well at New York. And so I know I have all these people that did so well there that they can just transition into here. They might not be known, but they're going to do well. And I can guarantee it. Like, there's probably 150 comedians in Chicago that I know could come to New York right now and do fine.
See, and that's the thing. So a lot of New York comics, right? So there's a lot of politics in comedy, and I want to get your opinion on it because you're like the god of comedy. It's almost like you're like, I'm looking up below my angels, and I'm going
definitely not.
No, but we kind of think that secretly. What would Brian do? But no, for real, like there are politics. I mean, more than there's competition, there's stage time, it's tight. So a lot of times people get upset in New York when we're, struggling and we're hustling the stages, and then people out of town come and they're like, why did they get on? But like you said, a lot of times it has nothing to do with popularity or being known, which I always argue with comics. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the most well-known. If a booker doesn't think you're funny, or a booker thinks somebody else is really funny and can kill a room and can vouch for it, that's just going to happen, right? I mean, so like, what's your take on that?
Look, like with out-of-towners, I always feel like, and this is something I've seen personally, like this comic Vikram Balaji, he just came here. He grew up in India. He started doing comedy in India. He moved to Chicago, and then he had never done a show in New York. And he was doing, he just coming to visit for something. And I put him up for 5 minutes, and he wrote like this beautiful thing on social media about how he just like achieved a dream of his. And to me, that matters more, you know, like that 5-minute spot, you could get a 5-minute spot every fucking night somewhere, you know, because you live here. But that 5-minute spot of somebody coming to visit where they're like, oh, like this is real, it's tangible. They see these comics that they watch, that they look up to on social media, and they see them and they go before them and they do well, or they go after them and they do well. They're like, oh, this is a real thing. So then it just pushes them to be even better, to try harder, to do more, you know?
See, that's for a greater purpose, and I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I always am for. And listen, out-of-town comics are just as good. I mean, they're really, some of them are.
Depending on where they're from. Yeah,
Where they're,
no,
I mean,
I'm just
Chicago,
kidding.
Chicago comics.
Yeah, no, I'm just
they're really good though. I also love Chicago. I have like
Yeah.
a love for Chicago,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, me too.
And like I've performed there. I mean, for me, it would be also for like a New Yorker going to Chicago, and it'd be a dream to have 5 minutes at Zany's or Laugh
course,
Factory,
yeah.
and being like, oh, I could see the dream on the road. I could see the dream of being full time as a
100%,
comic.
100%.
So the fact that you're saying that and clarifying that to people, I think people need to take that away and work together, not
Yeah.
be jealous or envious of someone else getting stage time or
Yeah,
you know.
you need people to work with you always, and this
Always.
is a community. Even though it's like a one man thing, like or one person thing, it still is a community that everybody should be helping each other, because you can all learn from each other. There's no fucking path in this.
Agreed.
So it's like,
yeah, everyone
like-
says though there's like a path. There's no path.
there's no real path. Everybody has their own path, you know, like you know, there's different things that you can help you on your path, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody has their own thing, you know.
Yeah.
I think the real path is the internet, and how you figure out the internet
Is
on
what's
you,
gonna get
is
you
on
there.
Yeah, but there's other paths. There's traditional paths with whatever, you know, if you want to go through the gatekeeper path, like whatever you think, you know, whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with, that path can totally work, you know, but yeah.
Well, what do you, I guess, and like a New York comedy club would look for in a comic, or for a comic that you feel like, okay, I can develop this comedian. I think this comedian has it. That, you know, besides social media, what do you say?
Yeah, well, I don't do the booking,
Right.
so I will.
He's clarifying this for everyone,
Yes,
guys.
yeah,
He does not do
I
the booking.
not do the booking. Amy and Candy develop talent, and they're very, very good at it. For me personally,
Yeah.
I look at I used to, when I was doing the open mics, you could be awful, but if you had one original concept, even if the joke wasn't great, it was a concept and you thought about something differently than I've ever heard. It could be the most, I always love like a joke that was always there in the ether, but nobody got it. And then they pull that joke down and you're like, dude, that's been there the whole time and nobody's ever said that. So it's like things like that. Like you could have that one concept or one joke, you know, and then like being nice goes so fucking far. Respectful, like, you know, not running the light, not shitting on people while you're, you know, just treating everybody respectfully. Being around the club helps because, you know, out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. Like, you know, if you're around and you're reminding the booker, whoever's there, that you exist, you know, then they're going to think about you and then you might get booked, whatever, you know.
So even to just hang out, like not
Yeah,
even
I think
necessarily
that-
for a show.
I think that definitely helps. But also, like, if that's not who you are, that's fine too. Like, if you need to go do whatever other show, like you'd rather go do 3 bar shows than go sit at a comedy club, I get that too, you know.
But it's like you're just giving suggestions for
Yeah.
people to be able to get more booked, more seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you saying the nice thing is important. A lot of people don't say that these days. Like
Right.
it goes a long way to be a kind person, to be professional, to be, you know, on time and all that stuff like goes a long way. I think.
Yeah. And then
Not just being funny.
on the
anymore.
other side of it is if you can build your own draw, then it's a partnership again, because then the business wants you there because you're going to put asses in seats. And that's something that obviously matters for
Right.
everybody. You know, it's the club, you know, we do great. Like we draw, like we are a draw, no matter who's on the show, we will have people there.
Now, is that a formula you guys created, the algorithm behind the scenes? Is that something just like
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
That is, you know, we have this guy Jim Panels that works at the club. He's a genius. He created like a lot of the ticketing platform that we have, the marketing that we do, and then Emilio and Scott both come from the street team. You know, they ran street teams. I don't know if you know that,
Yes.
but that's how they started, was running street teams in New York. So they have that whole mentality of marketing as well. And then Nick, everybody in the office, Claire, like they're all great. They all work super hard on making sure that the clubs that we have are packed. You know, we do like marketing for a lot of different things. A lot of like, we help comedians, we help clubs. Like we do, I think we do ticketing for, I don't know, 40% of the comedy clubs, maybe more, 50% of the comedy clubs in New York City.
Wow. And also the album releases have been taped a lot at the New York comedy clubs, more than any clubs in the city.
Yeah, especially the Gramercy Club, just because it sounds so good there.
Right.
That club is just
And you guys
so
are great
good
with
for
tech
sound.
because you guys also have like background in it, correct?
Yeah. Scott, one of the owners, he's an audio engineer, and we have a studio in Queens called Pinch Records. Pinch Records is the label, Pinch Recording is the studio. So, I mean, he does music, 3 or 4 days a week. He's actually working on music projects with artists because that's his real love. That's his background. That's his real love. Comedy is something that he loves, the live venue side.
Yeah.
Comedy, he likes comedy, but it doesn't, that's not what moves him. And that's why I love that too, because I came into this space where there was so many people that are creative in other ways too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also love how much patience you have with sharing knowledge with other comics and just in the industry. Like you'll write tips on social media for us to check out so it's easier, or you'll say, hey, you can share us as a collaborator, which is important because not a lot of people put that out there. You know what I mean?
Anybody that's known me has known me to do that from day one since I met them. Yeah, as a door guy. But I just didn't have any credibility then. So
you're like, now I'm a president, bitch. So now I could say, do this, do that. And
I'm sure people find some of the shit I post annoying, but
no, it's really helpful. I'm going to be honest. It's really helpful.
Fair, but that's your opinion. So I'm sure that some people are like, fuck you.
No, but I also, a lot of people talk, they talk and they say, oh my God, that's really helpful. But yeah, I guess what you're saying is like, there's always.
But I mean, like, it was funny, like Kelvin Evans, he's a comic in Chicago that he's amazing, but he did a podcast and he brought me up recently and he was like, Brian's been telling me from day one, like, this is what you should do on Twitter. You need to do this. You need to do this. And that was when I was a door guy. So like, and I don't think about that. I'm just trying to like, anything I hear, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I think that's also something that comedians don't do as much. It's definitely, they do it more, but a lot of comedians drop a lot of gems on podcasts where it's like things that you would never think about,
You're so right. We don't listen to it, and we should as research.
Of course, because then you're just going to learn more. Like something that's never talked about is like road pay. Like comics don't ever talk about how much they get paid for a private gig or a road gig or like things like that. And it's like, I feel like money is something that should be discussed for all comedians if you want to like make sure that everybody's on a level playing field. Right.
Like you're teaching us how to monetize not only off social media, but off like comedy in general, which is like we all bitch about how do we do this and how do we do that? And you're like, well, here's the formula. But you have to be the one willing to do it.
Exactly. You have to learn, and you have to do everything that you can to learn it and do it. That's the hardest part. Doing it.
Yeah. Because a lot of us don't want to do it. I mean, that's human nature, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I posted a video. Dane Cook, he did this whole thing about the other 23 hours. And it's like one of the most important videos to me, just because he talked about how he was only spending an hour on stage every night, but then he had 23 hours left in his day. And he's like, what am I doing with my day? Like he's making enough money where he could just perform at night. And what am I doing with my whole day? Am I just, jerking off on my fucking couch, not doing shit? Or can I do something like and help my career? And then he started connecting with his fans through AOL Instant Messenger. And then he started MySpace. And then he just kept going and kept going and kept going. So everything with social media for him was based on a connection with his fans, and he would spend 4 to 6 hours a day talking to his fans. And it's like, now you're addressing these people that care about you, and now you have ride or dies. You have people that will last with you forever, that if you have one person that really likes you, they're going to bring 3 people to your show.
Correct.
So if you have 10 people that really like you, you got 30 people at your show, like 40 people at your show. So it's like, that's how you have to
Wow, you really don't think of it like that, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I thought I wasn't going to fill out the show, and it was like, literally I had like 5 people who liked me, but then the word of mouth got around from that. And I didn't realize how powerful that could be, because it's because you don't think like that. You know what I mean? You're like, 5 people.
Fan is short for fanatic. There's the reason that exists is you're looking for fans. They are a fan of you. They want to tell people about you. That's human nature. Like, until you get too big, and then they're going to shit all over you, because that's also human nature. But until then, you're the cool underground person that they discovered that they really like, and they want to show their friends,
That's so true.
Yeah, we do it with everything.
I love that. Do you feel like though with social media, with a lot of times we want to be perfectionists, so we don't put the video out there. What do you suggest? Do we just put whatever out there that people are laughing at in terms of like content, or
Yeah.
what we think is good? Like, should we not care about what other people
Do
think?
you not try a joke because you're worried that it's never going to be perfect?
No, that's true.
So it's like, that's how I look at that. You have to look at everything the same. Like with comedy in general, you have to look at, you've worked this hard to get there. What did you do? What are the things that you do? Like, not just, I get on stage every night. I'm talking like consistency. What is the consistency of getting on stage every night? What is, just things that you're doing that are for the business side that you're not even realizing because you're just want to be good at comedy, for whatever reason. So you do that same thing for your business side, your social media side, put it out there, because if you're worried about it, who knows? I have, I'm not going to say who, but a comic that I know didn't like a clip that they put out. And I was like, keep it up. And it's up to like 200,000 views on Instagram. And they didn't like the clip.
Right.
So
wow.
it's like,
you see, you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. Some things work, some things won't. But you just have to do it.
Right. I think we get in our heads that if we put a bad clip out, then how are we going to get booked? But you're right. That's the risks too. Like,
how are you going to get booked by, like, what if somebody to see that?
They see the clip and they don't think you're as funny, but that's also not who you are completely as a comic. You have different moments, different sets, But
that's also you relying on a gatekeeper once again.
Right.
So it shouldn't be that mentality. It should be the mentality that you're doing it to build your own brand, so then you don't need anybody to tell you that you can do this or can't do this, because you're going to fill out the venue yourself.
Correct. And this is the mentality I would like to go with. And I agree with you 100%, because it's free. That's freedom. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's how I feel free as an artist. I don't want to rely on someone determining my worth, or like you should be booked or not be booked, or your dream should come true or not come true. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so what do you think? So as a community, what do we have to do to get to that?
Believe in yourself
Okay.
and study the business side. I think that's just important. Look at like what's working for people. Like Mateo Lane, he has been consistently posting reels in the right way with great captions, with great the title, like a great title of it. And Mateo's been funny forever. Mateo's always been I knew him in Chicago. He's a great comedian. He didn't have a huge following. I think in the last year, he's gained 400,000 followers on Instagram. Maybe more.
And that's from
maybe
consistently
500,000.
posting every day.
Yeah.
So you should definitely post every day, no matter what. Just a content.
It's not every
piece.
day. There is no post every day, it's whatever you're going to do, just be consistent with it. It's the same thing of if you are going up every night, if you're going up every other night, whatever you're doing, you're consistent with it. It's the same thing with social media, whether it's a podcast. Do you drop your podcast on the same day usually?
Yeah, usually every Friday.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Like if you want to post one clip every Friday, like Matt Pavich, he posts one clip, I think, on Mondays, and he's up like 50,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah. So clips, like all those things help a ton. Of course, that's obviously will change as everything shifts and changes. You just kind of have to stay up on how to promote and how to like market and all that. But yeah, the more you're out there as a comedian, you are a fucking business. And once you realize that you're a business and you are your own businessman, like you're your own business person, you are the person that fucking will make yourself successful or not. Like you can't wait on people, You
can't wait on people.
Yeah.
Like you can't wait on the agents or the managers. So these tips that you're sharing with us is like free and helpful.
Yeah.
Where to get yourself better and get yourself out there and create yourself as a business. Yeah, we're a business at the end of the day.
You are a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite comedian? Or
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz is yours. And why?
It's funny. I wasn't super into comedy. Like I didn't get into it till 2009. Yeah, like that's like really when I got into it. Why is Joey my favorite? He is so real, so raw. Live, like I've literally, my stomach has hurt after leaving his shows, like bad, like where it's like, for 3 days, I feel like I worked out my abs, like he just says wild shit. He has this great mix of like passion and goofiness in his comedy, and I love like both of them. Like he'll be so fucking passionate about something, but it's like he's talking about eating ass. You know?
I'm like passionate about eating ass, you know.
But it's like the most like ridiculous shit you've ever heard, and you're like,
Right?
oh my god, like this dude is saying this out loud, and he's so like he believes everything he's saying, and then but he's talking about the most ridiculous fucking thing, where you're like, okay, this is, you know, he's great to me, and he's always been the sweetest fucking guy to me, which like that goes a long way too. But even regardless, like I think he is incredible as a comedian. There's so many comedians I love. Like I love Miss Pat. I think Miss Pat is incredible. I love Big J Okerson. Joan Rivers is one of my favorites of all time. You know, that was the thing. Like I had to like dig in the crates. Like once I really learned about stand up, I had to go backwards and like really like get super into it. And
right. Like who are the legends, who are the icons.
Yeah. So then I started doing that. You know, I learned about like Belle Barth, who's like this amazing comedian from the 60s that like people don't know about.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like there's just, I don't know, I try to like dig in as much as I can just to learn, but it's so hard. Like it's so hard to say favorites, you know. Like I love Josh Johnson. He's one of my favorite comedians.
He's so great. That's what I was gonna ask you, like someone up and coming now. Do you have someone that you like that, you know, we should be paying attention to?
Oof. I mean, yeah, I think Josh is incredible. Do I go back to Chicago people? Do I go to New York? Like
you can go back to Chicago. We love Chi-Town. You could go back to Chicago if you'd like.
These people are like, I thought it was New York comedy.
Yeah. Well, you also have California Club too. That just opened up as well.
How do you pick a favorite? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's super hard. Yeah,
there's so many. I have so many favorites. I mean, even my colleagues, some of them, like I'm blown away from them all the time. You know. Like Alex Pavone, I was with him yesterday, and every time I shout out to him, every time I see that kid, I'm just like, dude, this is why I do comedy. Like, this is why. He's incredible. He's incredible. Yeah. Like, he's one of those, like, raw talents, I would say, that, of course, he works at it. Like, I've never seen someone work so hard, but he also has the raw, like, you know, the stage presence, and, like, you know, and he's willing to work at the social media stuff, too.
Is he?
I mean, I think so.
I don't think he is.
Only when you use him as an example.
Exactly. Yeah. I love Alex so much. He's a great guy.
That's amazing.
No, yeah. There's so many, like, there's so much good talent here. It's so hard. Like, to me, I fell in love with Caitlin Palufo. I think Caitlin is fucking amazing.
She's hilarious.
That's somebody I didn't know about before I moved here, and I think she's incredible.
She really is incredible.
I think Ashley Austin Morris is great. There's so many comics that I really like.
She was just on the podcast too. She's hilarious too, and like some of them are just as funny on stage, off stage, which I love too.
Yes.
So that's really cool. Also,
it's important.
I
like
important.
Joelle Johnson. I like. Janelle James is like, she's like in my top 5 probably. Janelle James is incredible.
Janelle James is good too. Yeah, I think they all have their unique voice, and it's hard to find your voice in comedy, but when you find it, it's the most rewarding thing in the world, you know? Yeah. So let's go to your show at New York Comedy Club, Metaverse, which is a really cool concept. Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, everybody makes fun of me for it because they're still not
the Metaverse.
They're still not understanding what it is. But I'm always trying to basically make comedians more money and like try to make the business more money as well. So I'm like, what can I do to expand an audience? You know, we are limited to New York City, but we have the best comedians in the world here. So it's like, how can I show other places this? So I'd been thinking about, even before I worked at New York Comedy Club, it's funny, like they had approached me probably last June about taking this job. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. But this article came out about the metaverse, and I was reading all about it, and I sent it to the owners of New York Comedy Club. I was like, once you guys are able to do this, like, this is going to be incredible for the comedy business. And so I've always had like this fascination with it for like, since I found out about it like a year ago. And probably like 4 or 5 months ago, Candy Claire that works at New York Comedy Club, she does like all the new talent booking. She was like, yeah, we worked with this company over quarantine that's called You Are Nowhere. And she's like, they have like a cool concept that you might be interested. Why don't you check it out? So then I started to look at what they did, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because a lot of people think that you need an Oculus or VR for a metaverse. Like actually a lot of people think that Facebook owns the metaverse because they changed their name to Meta. So because they're just smart business people, and they're obviously trying to push forward in Web3 and everything. But this company, You Are Nowhere, I started to look at what they did, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I met with them, and then they showed me this like box that it's like a black box that they created that isn't being used by anybody. It's like they have like their rooms that are open to everybody, and then this one's like a premium private room. And I was like, ooh, this is cool. So what you're able to do in it is I'm able to make digital posters, put them on the wall, and they have click-throughs for all the comedians on it. So like every comedian that I put on the show, I'll have a poster of their podcast or whatever they like, their YouTube channel, whatever they want, like a special. Like I had Akash on the week of his special came out, so like I put that up. And then I have like a merch posters in it. So I basically created a New York comedy club inside the metaverse, and for You Are Nowhere. And what you can do is you just need Google Chrome. You don't need the headsets, because everybody's like, oh, you need a headset, you need all these things. You just need Google Chrome on your laptop, and you can watch it from anywhere in the world. And I have a 5-camera shoot at my club, and I live stream the show, and I can live cut through all the cameras, so it looks really cool. And then it keeps you like entertained, and everything is spatial audio inside it. So if I move closer to you, I'm louder. If I move further away, you can't hear me as well. And it's the same thing with the stage. So then I'm doing a live show, because like right now, as a comedian, I'm sure you can attest, you did Zoom shows.
Yes, all the time.
Were they hard?
Yeah, they were. They were challenging, but
right. And compared to a live show, does it compare?
No.
Okay. So you always rather do a live show.
Of course.
So I haven't figured out that in between portion of how to really get the live show perfect in the metaverse, where it's just a metaverse, but it's still incredible what it is right now, because it gives you the watching experience together with people.
So it's like I'm watching a Netflix special, but I'm watching it through New York Comedy Club. So it's as if like I could be there live, but I'm not there live.
Yeah, and they're talking, like the host will always acknowledge the metaverse people, you know. And like
that's cool.
We had like 83 people the first show that came, and like all were in the metaverse room together.
And that was from all over. You
all
could be
over
from
the
Canada. You could
all
be
over the world.
Wow.
Yeah. We're working. I had
This
a
is
meeting
fucking
today.
cool.
I'm doing one based on India. So like we're gonna do an India metaverse show.
Yeah, they have a lot. I mean,
yeah, a lot of great comics.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it like at noon here, so it's like 8 o'clock in Mumbai. You know, so it just makes sense.
yeah, you should do Israel too. Oh
Yeah.
my God, if you have one of those, I'd love to be on your show. But that's a cool.
Yeah,
That's a cool
I'm
concept.
gonna do Brazil, like
Brazil,
with
all of
Rafi. Like I've been talking to Rafi Bastos about it. Like I think that's gonna be great. We'll do like a Portuguese show. That'll be incredible. I might do like a UK one with Katie Boyle. We're gonna do different things. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different way to watch it. You know, if you're gonna be home, you can put it up on your TV. You can do it however you want. But it's just it's a really, really cool way to watch stand up and see a comic that might not come to your hometown. You know, or
Right.
you might have to drive 3 hours to go see him, or you can't afford to see him. So you pay. Our tickets for the Metaverse show are $20, but I usually put like a stacked lineup on it. Where
Yeah.
people are like, oh, okay, this.
Oh,
is
I know this
great.
person or this funny
it's a
person,
great
and yeah, it's a
show.
great show.
Yeah.
That's so
I mean,
cool.
my first show is Josh Johnson, Akash Singh, Carly Aquilino, Corinne Fisher. I mean, it was just
That's a great lineup.
Yeah, it was
That's a dope lineup.
Solid lineup.
We just had Corinne Fisher on my show, on the All Star show at the Stand, and she just always
She's a
kills it.
beast,
She's
yeah,
a beast. Yeah.
yeah.
She's like a funny writer. She's just
Yeah.
funny. She's got it. But that's such a cool concept. I think that's our future. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I think a lot of people try to do, or were trying to do during the pandemic, but they can't get it right, because you also need like a huge team. You need to be well versed in the metaverse, but also like in IT. You know what I mean? Background.
Yeah, I don't
Like
have
logistics.
I don't have any IT background, and I just sort of figured it out. I have a friend, James Webb, that helped me a lot with the camera stuff, and like anytime I have a question, I just like can call him, and he'll definitely help me. But he set up the first club that I have, or the first, so we have 2 clubs. So he set up the 4th Street Club with cameras, and then I set up the Gramercy Club with the cameras. So it was cool. Like I learned how to do it from him, and then I just did it myself at the other club. And it's just kind of just with everything. I have no background in anything besides culinary. Like
you're like, I just know how to make recipes, and I know how to make them good in every industry. Right, but that's a skill.
You have fucking YouTube. You can literally learn anything you want.
You just ask every question on Google, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is the 2nd largest search platform in the world, you know, and you can find out literally anything.
Yeah, like I remember when I came out with the podcast like 3 years ago, people were like making fun of me for putting the podcast on YouTube. They'd be like, Chanel, it's a podcast. Don't you get it through your head? Why are you doing video? And I'm like, guys, don't you understand that like, doesn't matter if it's a podcast. You need to also show the video. Let's say there's people who can't download the podcast, or they don't have access, or they want to pay for it, you know, on iTunes. It's like, there's other ways. YouTube is a free platform for everybody.
I don't know, like if I'm in the, like I'm the rarity, but the only way I can consume podcasts is through YouTube. I don't have a podcast app on my phone. I Spotify occasionally, but like it's through YouTube. That's where I get 99% of the podcasts I listen to. I pay for YouTube Premium,
that's
so
the
I can
thing.
close my phone and listen to it still.
Right.
But I watch most of what it's just better. Like I prefer to watch and see what people are looking like, you know.
Yeah, just because you listen to someone doesn't mean you can't watch, like us too.
You also get a lot more when you watch, I think. Like you get facial expressions, you get like
right.
You're almost more in on the jokes.
Yes, I agree. But I think people get confused, like, what's the difference between a podcast and then watching it? I think it's just the same thing. I think it's content. I
100%.
think it's just the way you want to listen or watch it.
Yeah, and there's 2 billion people on YouTube, so you're just putting it out there to the possibility of hitting 2 billion people. So you're going to catch way more people that might be into your thing, you know?
Yeah. How do you feel about podcasts in general? Do you think it's important for everybody to have one?
I've learned fucking 90% of the shit I know in life from podcasts.
I know, me too. Dating stuff especially, which we're gonna get into. But
I'm an audiophile, so I listen to a lot of things. Like I probably for 8 hours out of my day, I'm listening to something.
Anything you can suggest to us? Like, what are your favorites? Maybe. He's like porn podcast. No. Just kidding.
No, like, it's funny. Like, I actually like Bert Kreischer, I think, drops the most amount of knowledge for comedians on his podcast. Anytime I listen to Bert, he's always like giving insider information that people don't really talk about.
Okay, that's
and
good
I think that he is like, he always like, he'll talk about money. He'll talk about like touring. Like I put up a clip the other day. He sold 4,000 tickets in one day off a promo he did. And it's like, it's just thinking like things like that you wouldn't ever really consider. That's why, like, I think his podcast, he has a lot of good information for comics.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's just him usually interviewing a comedian, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about dating and transition a little bit here. Okay. Does that mean we have 10 more minutes?
Yeah, like 20 actually.
We have 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're running on time. So
Perfect. And how are you with time?
Time's up if we're talking about dating now.
Shit. Time is up. No, but you're good with time?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So dating, we talk about dating on this podcast. In general, it's hard to date in New York City. And it's hard to date, I feel like, in our industry, or I don't know, you can agree, you could disagree.
1,000% in the industry. Yeah.
And it's hard to date someone in any workplace you're with. I don't know if you suggest to date someone or not. I've been having issues, a lot of people asking questions about this, but what would you say is like your, I don't know, tip to like date in New York City, or like how to date right?
I'm not great on answering this.
Okay. He's like, I don't date. So do you date?
Yeah, but yes, I do date.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently single. I think dating is hard in general. I think in New York, obviously it gives you more access to so many people, and now you have the internet and apps and everything that can just connect you with everybody. So it's like, it's hard to feel satiated with one person, or to like meet that one person because you find like, oh, this person has something else or whatever, because it's so easy just to meet multiple people.
Right.
And you're in New York, and that's a huge city in general, and then people are a lot of times are focused on their careers first, so that makes it difficult, you know.
Yeah.
I work usually interesting hours, and it's like it's hard to date me because I work weird hours,
Right.
and I work a lot and I love my job. So I think a lot of times too, it's, I've been on dates where the other person hates their job and I'm like gushing about what I do. And I think that is a turn off a lot of times. Yeah.
Really? A turn off? That would be a turn on.
It's a turn on, but it's a turn off to me that they hate their jobs and they're not trying to change it. I'm saying like,
got it.
Yeah.
Because you're all about being like improve if you don't like something and like better yourself if you don't like. And I'm all about that too. I think that's the mentality.
You got one life. Like what the fuck?
YOLO, right? Like one life, you have to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And you really are the only person responsible. If you don't take it to the next level, or if people say no, then you have to try to find another way if you really want it.
Of course.
I believe,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of girls also write in like, what's this thing when you go on a date with a guy or a girl and you think you're hitting it off and then you don't really hear from them? I mean, like ghosting. What's your perspective on ghosting? Why do you think guys ghost girls? Like they'll have a passionate night one night and then all of a sudden the girl doesn't hear from them, or other way around, the guy doesn't hear from the girl.
Yeah. I've definitely ghosted for sure. So I'm trying to think of reasons why.
I don't know if I have ghosted. Oh yeah.
I think like, and maybe I did it not intentionally, or intentionally. I don't know, but I think that also goes back to like access of people. So like you might be dating multiple people, so then you don't think about that person as much anymore. I think ghosting is just mainly lack of communication skills. So it's like just from the beginning, if you try to communicate who you are and what you want out of whatever relationship you're getting into, I think that is very, very important. So then if ghosting or whatever does happen, it's more understood, I guess.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You have to just be open with people. And I always say this too. It's okay to say to someone, hey, look, I had a great time with you, but let's be friends, or hey, I had a great time with you. Don't get upset if, I disappear.
Yeah, for real.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've done that before. I've said that to guys before. I'm like,
communication.
It's communication. That's what the moral of the lesson.
And that's the opposite of ghosting.
And that's the opposite. But it is, I kind of do understand why it's easier to ghost. I'm not going to lie. Like sometimes you don't have the time, right? Like, especially when you're career driven and you're like so busy and you're so passionate about other things. You're like, okay, do I have the time to really say, hey, this isn't working out? Or
yeah.
Dating sucks in New York City. My whole bit is about dating and being single. So I don't really know either. That's why I ask my guests what they think.
I guess it just depends what you want. Are you looking to get married? Are you looking to like, find the love of your life? Or are you looking to, I don't know, hook up? Like it just depends what you want.
Right. Or are you looking for your Prince Charming? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I am,
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. What are you looking for? And that's important.
Yeah.
And don't take it personal. Like the people out there, don't take it personal.
It's hard not to, of course. But
of course.
It's usually not about you. It's about the other person.
Ooh, I like that. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it back now to social media haters, right? So what do you do if like you want to put content out there but you feel like people are hating on you, or like again telling you like not to do this or that?
Yeah.
What would be your suggestions? Tips?
I feel like if you're going to take the good, you have to take the bad.
Okay.
That's, me being a Libra.
Oh, Libras, yes. You're so balanced.
But I think it's just like if you're a comic, it goes back to that one person with their arms crossed. There's fucking 200 people laughing, and then the one person with their arm crossed not having a good time, and you hone in on that person. You could have 700 likes, and then, first of all, as a woman, women get it way worse than guys do on social media. Like it's always not funny. That's always the first one. And then it's something about the appearance.
Yeah.
It's, but the fucked up thing is that if they're commenting, it helps the algorithm. So it's like, that's a great soundbite. We should record. I always go back to like 50 Cent. I was like 50 Cent. If they hate, let them hate and watch the money pile up. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
See, you're a smart man. You are a smart man because it is about the money at the end of the day.
Yeah, like dude, people are gonna comment. If you are a sensitive person, which most fucking comedians are, if you are somebody that if you're going to read every fucking comment, then you're going to get bad comments, and those are the ones that are going to hurt you. So if you can't balance that, where the 99 99% of the comments and likes make you feel good and the 1% make you feel bad, and that 1% is really going to fuck with you, then you shouldn't read comments.
Yeah, I remember when I did the reality show on Bravo, I was like, everyone's like, don't read comments, don't read the comments. And like one day I just went and I read all the comments and I was like really upset, like really depressed. And then I didn't come out of my closet for like 2 weeks. But besides that point, I was like, you know what? Why do I care what someone who doesn't know me thinks of me? Like if I think I'm okay or great or whatever, that's all that should matter. Like why do I care that this person just said that I was not attractive? Okay, that's their opinion. Like that doesn't mean that's who I am or who I'm gonna be, or you know what I mean?
And I also feel like there's like a masochism thing with that too. Like you sometimes are searching that out because you're trying to feel, you're
trying to write like the self-prophecy thing. Like I knew I was that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, cause we're all our own self-haters. And so it's
or if you ever like break up with somebody because you want an album to be really good, you're like, Taylor Swift's dropping a new album. I need to feel it. Like we need to end this relationship. It's the same thing. Like,
it's the same shit. I swear I was like recently with someone and I got out of it and I'm like, that's it. My comedy thing's going to be so much stronger. It's going to just be better. And then but then I'll get on stage and it will be great. And I dropped a new joke the other day that killed, but it's like, at what cost though, right? Like, do you do it at the expense of the person you love? My mental health comes before the guy I love. So, you know.
Well, comedy comes before everything. That's
comedy does. Yes. Comedy does come before everything.
Comedy is the real thing that you love.
That's the real thing I love. It really is my first love. Yeah. So that's tough. Yeah. But no, it's funny because it's like when you drop an album or when you're like about to listen to an album, it's so funny how people are like, heartbreak's what motivated me.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Right? Do you feel like any heartbreak in your life has motivated you to be where you're at now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like, is that why you're such a hard?
My stepdad killing himself put me in this position of like really like, wanting to understand life and like what I was doing. I was in the military and I was like, I didn't love it. I was just doing it because I needed to at the time, and it got me out of a situation that I was in. And I was like, okay, like what can I do to like be the best at it? And I was great at it, and not great, but I was really fucking good at my job in the military. So I just kept pushing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make 20 years out of this. And then the heartbreak of losing, my stepdad raised me. I didn't meet my real father till I was 17, so my stepdad was my dad.
Wow.
And when he did that, I was like, okay, like what the fuck is really life? Like what are we doing? Like why am I doing what am I doing? Like, do I care about this? So I started to just evaluate everything that I did, and then I took that heartbreak to motivate me. Now, to go back to another, I just not to make this a death podcast, but it'll be so on the 31st of this month. My best friend died last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. He passed away from alcoholism, and he was 32, and for me, it was like okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing the right thing? And I was like, I need to just keep going. And that's another reason why I took the job in New York and leaving Chicago. Like, what can I keep doing in my career to like do this for a life that I want to live, And my best friend was like the smartest person. He's a fucking lawyer. He's like, he had everything going for him and he just wasn't happy. And so I was like, how can I make sure that I'm happy in my career, and make sure I'm happy in my life? So that's, heartbreak definitely pushes me forward for sure. Always.
Yeah, because like everything can be so great on paper, but that doesn't mean you're happy.
100%.
Like, or I could say, hey, I love comedy and I'm now a full-time comedian. I'm hitting every stage. Again, still doesn't mean I'm going to be happy. Right. But at least comedy is what I know I want to do.
Right.
Broke or not broke, that does make me happy at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So just like what you're doing, like that's amazing. But it does suck that it stems from pain. Yeah. But at the same time, like you're bettering yourself. So that's
I think
important.
everything stems from pain somewhere.
Everything. Like we're all broken somehow.
100%. Yeah.
We're all going through a lot of pain and we all got to take a lot of walks.
Yeah.
I want to take a big walk right now with you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's fucking hot though.
At the bridge. I know.
Today's killing it.
Yo, the weather in New York is so bipolar. Yesterday was like raining and today's so hot. I'm like, I can't take it.
Yeah. It's rough.
It's rough.
That's why dating's so bad, because everybody's sweaty.
Everybody's sweaty. I know. It's like, well, what's a tip to keep a guy, I guess, happy? Not happy, but like keep a man. Like every man is always like, you guys are just annoying bitches. I feel like that's what they like. I feel like it's always like the girl wants to figure out a way to keep the guy.
Yeah.
Because there's no communication, right? So like, let's say, I don't know, like, do we need to compliment you guys more? Do we need to be more patient, less psycho? not light your houses on fire.
I have like and look, this is my feelings about it, but I feel like it's like it's like men are hunters, so like we need to want to hunt.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, girls, listen to this, please.
That's how I feel about it. It's not about compliments. It's not about
or initiating. No, because some girls are like, well, why don't I ask him for the coffee? He hasn't texted me in days. And I'll be like to my friend, but if he wanted to text you, he would text you.
Because we're hunters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think girls, though, like want to believe that. Some people.
Well, also women want to change people. Like, I mean, people want to change people in general, but I've found in my experience that women often want to change certain aspects about me that I probably am not going to change.
Yes, I've been there too. With like the last guy I was with, I think I wanted to change him and who he was, and that's where the argument stemmed, right? And that's where the conflict is.
And it's not that you can't change, but it is like there needs to be. It takes time and communication with everything, like whatever that thing is. And if it's that important, whatever the thing is that you want to change, if it's that important to the other person, then you probably will change that if you care that much.
Right. And I think sometimes women as nurturers and caretakers, we think if we take care of them or message them or initiate, something will develop. But then that also pushes men away. So
sometimes,
sometimes
for sure.
it pushes men
but men,
away.
like I just think
The
that
hunters.
men are hunters at the end of the day. Like we need to constantly like have a reason to want that person.
I like that.
Yeah.
I get it and I don't get it. I mean, as a person, for me, I feel like what turns me on the most is when like the person's available, but I guess also that's like a different personality. Women are different than men.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But dating sucks and dating's hard, and I'm just never getting married. So just thought everyone should know that. Okay, thanks. Okay, glad that we got that out of the way.
Never?
I feel like I don't know how to deal with men, to be honest, in general. So I feel like it's going to be a sacrifice, and if I keep getting on this wave of like figuring out men or relationships, then my career might suffer. Which is the truth,
Fair, yeah. So you love comedy.
So I love comedy. I need comedy to be like number one, and then.
So maybe and look, I don't know, but maybe you won't find somebody until you're satisfied of where you are in your comedy career.
That's also true.
Yeah, so maybe not focus on the man so much and focus on yourself, and then figure that out, and then the rest will probably come to you.
I like that. Thank you. That's good advice.
Yeah.
I got to do that. I got to let it come to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a little bit.
Because men are hunters.
That's what I'm going to keep thinking. Chanel, before you text them, men are hunters.
Yeah.
They're hunters.
Yeah.
If they wanted to hunt you, they would. Well, clearly no one wants to hunt me, so fuck all of you. No, just kidding. Okay. What's it called? I just lost my train of thought. But Chanel in the City, restaurants, anything, or like you said, you like to walk, but like any restaurants you like to suggest for us to check out and like good vibes
for brunch or breakfast in general. Balthazar is like my shit. I love Balthazar. Yeah, I've gone there quite a bit. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's on like I forget where it is. It's like south of Houston Street.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a classic French place in the city. I go to this spot called Pocha 32 that's in Koreatown. It's like this upstairs like Korean like little hip spot where they serve watermelon soju, which I love. Like, and it comes in a watermelon, so they dig out a watermelon and they put in watermelon soju, and then you like ladle it out into these cups, and it's great for like a lot of people.
That is so fucking cool. I want to do that.
It's so good. I just went to a place in Bushwick. It's called Winona's. That was fantastic.
Winona's. Oh, I love Winona Ryder. So that's
yeah. It's like a bar in the front and then like a really big restaurant in the back. I had monkfish, which I love monkfish, and it was fantastic.
Ooh.
If like you want to go like fine dining, like Danielle's is incredible. I think it's either a 2 or 3 Michelin star. I've been to Per Se. Per Se is the sister restaurant of Thomas Keller, who owns the French Laundry in California. That's fantastic. There's a lot of. I think Chicago's a better restaurant city, but I do.
What would you suggest in Chicago? Because I feel like we need to know if we go to Chicago.
It depends what you want. Alinea is always in the top, 10 to 15 restaurants in the world. It's been a 3 Michelin star since Michelin became anything in Chicago. Like they didn't start in Chicago until I think to like 2011. That's like the highest end. I love it there. Mon Ami Gabi. I love French food. So like Mon Ami Gabi is a French spot in Chicago that's amazing. There's a few of them. There's like I think 4 of them around the United States, but it's a great restaurant in the Bedford Hotel. If you want breakfast, I love Little Goat. It's Stephanie Izard's restaurant. She won Top Chef season 3, and she opened The Girl and the Goat, and she opened Little Goat, and then she has a place called Duck Duck Goat. That's her version of Chinese food.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic. They do like slap noodles that are wild. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me hungry right now. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love food, so it's
yeah.
I've
We're foodies here.
Since I've been back here, I've just gone to every pizza place possible. Like,
what's your favorite? So, because New York, I have a specific. I know, and not all of them are good.
I love Best Pizza in Williamsburg. I think Best Pizza is really great.
Of course, it's in Brooklyn.
Here, I mean, you can't ever go bad with Joe's.
Oh yeah, Joe's is good.
There's a place called Sauce that's up the street that I really like.
One of my favorites.
There's a place that's on. It's on like 38th and 7th or 37th and 7th. It's so good. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Well, have you tried Bleecker Street? You got to try it. Bleecker Street's one of my favorites.
Like John's on Bleecker?
Yeah. And Prince Street Pizza is amazing.
Prince too, yeah.
And Lombardi's.
Lombardi's
is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've literally eaten probably 4 slices or 5 slices of pizza a week since I've moved here, just because like
it's so good.
I've tried probably 60 or 70 different pizza spots since I've been here. I'm not joking. Like
that's amazing. I love it
because I missed it so much. Like I love pizza. Like I worked in a pizza place as a kid. Like it was just like I loved pizza, and now it's. Chicago pizza. That is one thing.
Chicago has good deep dish pizza.
I do not like.
You don't
like deep dish pizza. No. There's funny, like I don't really like a lot of the traditional Chicago foods. Like I'm not like an Italian beef person. I'm not like a Chicago dog person. Not a deep dish person. But I still think that their restaurants there are incredible.
Yeah. And when I went there, I did some stuff like comedy stuff for Steve Harvey. Like I would open the show for his talk show, and the restaurants were incredible. The vibes, it was just like very classy, very chill, very bougie, but like affordable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it there.
So fun. I want to plan a trip there soon. Yeah, just get away from New York, a little bit.
100%. Oh, I went to one spot here that I loved. It's called Ilili. It's like Lilili.
I heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. It's Lebanese. It's fantastic.
Ani's Lebanese.
Oh, really?
I'm Armenian.
Oh, shit. I thought, okay, that's not racist. Fucking A. We're both Middle Eastern. Why did I think Lebanese?
I don't know.
Armenian, the better half, but I love Armenian too. But Lebanese food is really good.
Yeah.
It is really good. Yeah. Middle Eastern food is amazing. I miss it so much. I want to go back to.
Armenians are good at judo, right?
Judo, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
No,
what do you mean?
Judo. It's another martial art.
Oh, they're really good at wrestling.
Yeah,
also.
because judo's a form of wrestling.
Yeah.
There's
Fighting.
a lot of like, good Armenians that are good at judo. There's this guy Karo Parisian who's like one of the best ever.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Are you into martial arts?
I love it. Yeah, I watch a lot of MMA.
Yeah, MMA, right.
Yeah,
you love it. My ex-boyfriend loved MMA too.
Yeah.
I thought he was cheating on me with the MMA fighters sometimes. Yeah. You know,
it
feels that way. Is that crazy to think as a girl?
No.
Like you could see, right, why someone would get jealous at the time that you're like, this fighter is like, he was like in love with her. And he'd be like, I'm in love with her. You see, she's so driven. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Like, can't you think of that for my comedy?
Well, he's never going to be with her.
I know. I used to say that to him. I'm like, and you know what? You're never going to be with her. He's like, and you're fucking childish. Get out of my house.
Well,
you're like, well, both of you have a point.
That's like you being like, Brad Pitt's so hot. And then him being like, fuck you, Brad Pitt's so hot. You fucking ass. Like, why would you say that in front of me?
I know.
I don't care. He's a good actor.
Dude, I'd get like
I'm
mad.
a plumber.
Yeah, I'd get like mad when we'd had the fights and like, his boys and their girlfriends would be in the I'll be in the living room and I get like really mad, like really high, I don't know, I'm paranoid. And they'd be like, what's wrong with her? And he's like, I don't know. She's fucking jealous of the MMA fighter on the TV screen.
So funny.
Funny.
Now I don't know who it was. Who was the girl that he liked?
Oh my God. I feel like it was some of the, I forget her name, but she's,
not important.
She's bald.
It's Rose Namajunas.
It is. You like her, right?
Oh, yeah, I love her.
You love her too. You see, I can't date anyone who's gonna.
She just lost.
She just lost.
She lost to
Were you
title
upset?
2 weeks ago. You know, what's fun is I actually watched her win the title the first time here live at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
I came to visit, and it was like she is a beautiful person.
Wait, I was gonna say, what do you love about her? What do you fucking love about her?
What I love about her is that she is.
Come on the podcast, by the way.
She's very in tune with herself.
Okay.
And
you know this personally?
No, I just I look at a lot of things that she does.
Okay.
She was never the best, you know, and then she became the best, and then she lost, and then she won again, and now she lost again, but I think she'll probably come back and win again. She plays piano, and she's like incredible at piano, so I think that's really cool. She has like a really strong relationship with her like longtime partner and trainer, so that's really cool. She's from Milwaukee, so it's like I like that because Milwaukee and Chicago are super close. She's beautiful. That helps for sure. She's super pretty. Mm-hmm. And she's always like down to earth. She cries a lot, which I kind of dig because like it just shows that she's emotionally vulnerable. Like a lot of like fighters in general, just like they're very tough on the exterior, but she will cry. Like, and she'll cry in interviews, she'll cry in the ring, she'll cry, you know. And she's a positive person.
Yeah. I like I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense why you like her.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess there's a lot to, fucking lot of shoes to fill in this world. There's so many women, you know, that are so great that you're just like, I want to be like that, you know? I want to cry a lot.
You should want to be like you.
I mean, I do want to be like
And I think people want to be like you too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure there's people that look up to you. You don't think that there's somebody that listens to this podcast that looks up to you?
Yeah, a few gay men in in Australia. Love you guys, booze. Yeah, no, but yeah, I guess. I mean, you never think of yourself, right? Even if you, here's what I say to everyone, even if you love yourself, which is a struggle for me every day, I'm open about it. Like, I battle through depression and anxiety and mental health, and I try to love myself every day. But at the same time, when you're humble and you know, you don't want to get in your own head and you don't know that you don't see yourself like others see you, I guess, right?
Sure, yeah, of course. You never see, yes, that's 100%. But yeah, I think that you just have to keep doing things that make you confident in who you are, you know, and just keep building towards that. So then you find solace when you're not feeling, you know, good about yourself. You know that you've done these things and you are good at these things. So that helps you, and like you can rely on those things to make you feel better, plus all your mental health tools. Right,
exactly. So this is very educational.
It's becoming confident in who you are and comfortable in your own skin, you know. Sometimes that doesn't work, you know. I thought, Anthony Bourdain, like I thought he was the most confident, charismatic person, and then, you know, fell in love with a woman that, you know, drove him to do what he did.
Right, and that brings us to our last question of the podcast. Speaking of that, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I want to know your thoughts on that.
Ooh,
because I feel like that's like it's kind of like the Anthony Bourdain. It's like, look how somebody you could fall in love and it could fuck up your world and everything you worked hard for.
That's love, man. That's real love.
Yeah, that's real love, huh?
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's interesting. I think it's like
First, are you shocked that it's so public social? I'm shocked it's so public social media wise. I mean, I don't know why I'm so shocked because social media is our age, but I'm shocked they're able to share those clips.
Well, it's a public hearing,
right?
So that helps. It's streamed on court TV or whatever because they know that they're going to make a lot of money on it, you know. And I think it's strategic in whoever chose to do it publicly. It's strategic to make them look better. And I'm guessing it was Johnny's team because he's coming out on top on this. I think that relationships are super fucking complicated, and you can make, especially when you have like. Without lawyers, you can make the narrative look like whatever. So with lawyers, you can make a narrative look whatever. I wasn't in the relationship. We're just hearing what they've talked about. People are often saying that Amber Heard's crazy. Amber Heard's this, Amber Heard's that. I don't think she's crazy at all. I think that she is somebody that's in a relationship with somebody that's a fucking actor. She's an actor. He's an actor. Like they're both passionate, unique people, you know?
Right. That's nicely said.
Yeah. I think that we are basically being fucking fiends to eavesdrop on their private life, you know, and they've made it public for a court hearing and all these things, and he's trying to like win his name back. But at the end of the day, he chose to be with her and he chose to stay with her. And I'm sure that there were signs of this the whole way, and he accepted it. And then there was, you know, his drug use and her drug use and whatever else is involved in their relationship to make it extra. It's like, yeah, now we're all fucking watching this, and it's like, it's fun, don't get me wrong, like
Right.
where she was talking about pledging versus did you see this whole thing about her pledging money? Like, so
No.
it's so she so
Sorry, just snorted. She cracks me up.
with the divorce money,
Yeah.
she got $7 million in the divorce. Okay.
Oh, okay, she already got the money. Okay, I didn't know
And she pledged. She said she was pledging to donate $7 million. It was like 3.5 to like battered women or something, and then 3.5 to like kids or something. I don't know. But it was like 2 charities. So she was saying that she was going to donate the money, and she's like, yes, I'm donating the money. So she said under oath that she was donating the money. Now she's changing it to say, I pledged to donate it. And they just had this like 5-minute back and forth where she would not say that she was donating.
Oh my God.
And then she kept saying pledge. Like, I said pledge, not donate. I
What's
said
it?
pledge.
I'm sorry, but what's the difference? So pledge means like I want to,
And donate means
I have intention to, and donate means I'm donating
Yes,
physically right now.
correct, yeah.
That fucking.
So, like,
but
she
do you
was
see
just
what she
trying to,
earns
like-
the crazy though? I mean, not that she is, because it bothers me more than anything that people will
Yeah.
say the girl is crazy in this situation,
course.
but she's not helping the case when she takes back things she says.
Well, the truth is like something that always sets you free. So it's like, I think that their truth is, I mean, that could be her truth, but we're just like fucking peeping on some 2 people's relationship that and you know, I barely know Amber Heard. I have like a connection to Johnny Depp because Blow is like an amazing
My
movie to me.
favorite movie of all time.
Fear and Loathing's an amazing movie to me. Like I didn't give a fuck about. I never watched Pirates of the Caribbean, but there's so many Johnny Depp movies that I really really enjoy. Donnie Brasco. And so like you have this like affinity to want people to be who we think they are, you know. And he is coming off, especially with social media, because social media is going to be on his side already because he's like pretty famous and not, you know, he's been in, I think Pirates of the Caribbean just changes like a lot of people's perspective about him because they look at him as this like person that they loved as a child. And now all these people that they're at the age where they're fantastic at social media. So they can put out clips and make anything look like anything, you know? And then you're including the fucking crazy trial. So it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Right, which is, and that's the whole thing is like, right, he's like a hero, and now almost like she's making him a villain, which I respect about him, about the whole slander thing, because in this industry, the slander thing is real. Like, we've all gone through it. Maybe he's going on in a public level. He's more of a celebrity.
Yeah.
And so he's saying it's important for me to fight back for my name, which is one thing
100%.
I do respect,
Yeah.
you know, if he's really didn't do anything. Like, now listen, like, you're right. Relationships are complicated.
Yeah.
What's fascinating to me about this whole thing is, I see myself a lot in Amber Heard, and I think a lot of women do, because it shows that like if it could happen to her, like it really that happens to anybody in a relationship, you know, like you become
Yeah.
obsessed, passionate, love, it turns bad. But also I think it's interesting that you could like someone so much and that could happen. You know, it is what it is.
That's the time when it does happen.
When you like someone so much?
there's a thin line.
But can't it
That's
be
the thin line
simple that-
between love and hate, right? Like it's you.
See, no, but
if you
is
didn't-
it?
If you didn't like somebody, you wouldn't spend that energy.
It's 2 sides of the same coin. They come
Right,
from
but
the same place. Love and
right.
hate.
Right, but then there's also those relationships that you see they last because they like each other. They make it simple. I mean, I'm sure they fight here and there. I just feel like some people just make it more complicated
I
than it
think
has
that
to
goes
be.
back to what you were saying about trying to change people. Like, it seems like,
Yeah.
you know, they were trying to change each other.
Of course,
You know?
yeah,
Right,
Trying to fit
okay,
in
so
whatever
that's-
mold, you know.
That's when it becomes
Yeah.
a shit show and chaotic.
And it's not like Johnny Depp's not intelligent, or you know, she dated Elon Musk. You know, it's like
Yeah.
she obviously is a smart person. So it's like, I don't know. I like it obviously because it's like
Entertaining.
entertaining in a way, but I also dislike it because you're just showing people's fucking privacy in public. You know,
Yeah.
I get why you had to do it, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna choose a side though. I don't give a fuck if either of them like
Right,
it
if
doesn't-
either
it
of them
doesn't-
win or not.
It does
But
not
it's-
matter to me.
But it's
either
interesting
way.
that you're saying also, so with social media, maybe with your career you can post, but there's a fine line with sharing also your private life on social too. I mean, right?
Sure, yeah, it depends. Like, what I think you just choose what you want to share always. You know, I think Kevin Hart was very good at sharing his private life for a long time, and now he's basically not showing anything from his private life anymore. So it helped him become super famous, but it fucked him over a lot of times too. You know, he gets caught in a car with another girl or like doing whatever. It's like, and he's owned up to everything. So he's admitted to like all his faults, which is awesome. So, but yeah, I think you just pick out what you want to show. Yeah. Pick out what you're comfortable with showing, you know.
That's the key.
And that's the crazy thing about fame. The more you show, the more famous you get, the crazier it gets.
Right. And it also could affect stuff too. When you're showing private life that people don't like, that could affect brand partnerships and stuff like that.
Sure,
so you're right. Be careful. Pick what you show.
It could affect in the other way too, though. Like, you know, you're showing your kid and then all of a sudden you get some Gerber sponsorship or some shit. You know?
It's true.
You never know.
You never know. Or yeah,
you have to pick what you want to show in entertainment. It's entertainment at the end of the day. So
I love it. Well, before we wrap up, anything you'd like to plug or anything else we could look forward to with you, and where can everybody follow you?
Yeah, I have my next. When does this come out?
Probably this will go out next Friday.
So what date is that?
I think June 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
Third. Okay, so that'll be right after my June 2nd Metaverse show. So don't come to that because you won't know about it.
The July one? Do you have one in July you could plug?
It'll be the first. I think it's like the 7th or 8th. It's the first Thursday of July. It's always the first Thursday of every month at New York Comedy Club at our Gramercy location at 8:30, and then you can also stream it online. All you need is Google Chrome. So if you have Google Chrome, you can watch it from anywhere in the world. Come to shows. We have shows 7 nights a week at New York Comedy Club, both locations. We have California Comedy Club now. I am currently working on Ashley Austin Morris's comedy special that should be released this month. We did a rough edit already. It'll be out on YouTube. In July, I have Mike Cannon. We did a crowd work special that I shot, and I'm helping with the edit and production portion of it. That'll be, July, I think, 10th that we're going to put that out. So there's a few different specials. We just did Leclerc Andre's special, so that I'm sure that'll come out soon. But yeah, we have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline.
Love it. Congratulations.
Thank
Mazel
you.
tov. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I'm happy to know
Thank
you.
you for having me on.
Of course. Like, this is like amazing. This episode is going to do so well. You're probably going to get a lot of DMs. No, but seriously, thank you for being here.
I love Australia, guys.
He loves those Australian women. I actually studied abroad in Australia, which makes me a little bit Australian.
What was her name? Never mind.
No. You might see me on, no, I'm just kidding, on your show one of these days, but we'll talk out of the show. Off the show, negotiate.
You forced me to do it.
I'm like forcing him. Like, you better fucking put me on your show, Brian. I need it. I need a mitzvah. See, but comics are we're our own business. You created this monster, bitch.
Let me hunt you.
I know. Hunt me, please. You're right. You taught me so much on this podcast. So men have to hunt me for bookings and for relationships. So you heard it here first, okay? You'd be also a great manager, by the way. We've talked about this though. Like, you should own your own management team.
Yeah, I get asked.
And manage comics.
I've been asked to manage comedians for like the last
the next Scooter Braun.
5 or 6 years.
I call it. Brian Morton is the next Scooter Braun. But
I met Scooter Braun. He came to the club twice.
Did he?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
I used to work for him. He's great.
He's very fucking nice. Yeah.
Very kind guy.
Good guy. Yeah.
Very hardworking.
Yep.
I see you guys doing things together. I'm also, like, by the way, a little psychic. Just wanted to let everyone know. So
Great. I can't wait.
If I'm right.
Scoot, what up, dog? If you're listening after the People interview, hit me up. Let's go.
That's right, Scoot. We all in this together. No, thank you so much, Brian. And
thank you for having me.
Where can they follow you on social media again?
It's my Instagram is BDMNYCC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my initials, Brian David Morton.
Ooh, Brian David Morton. It's such a stage name. What a wonderful name.
My mom said that
Empire
she
name.
could see me playing football, so she named me that. She's
That's
like, she's like, I want to hear it in the stands. I want to hear that over the speaker. I was like, all right.
Your mom is a stage mom. She knew.
My mom was in a band. She still sings, but she's in a band my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. What kind of music?
She did like everything, from their first band that I remember. She was in bands before that. The first band I remember was the 57 Chevys. So they did a lot of like 50s and 60s music. And then she transitioned to do a lot like towards the end of the band. She did a lot of like alternative. She did like Alanis Morissette and Melissa Etheridge and things like that. Yeah.
That's so fucking cool. I love Melissa
Me too.
Etheridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to my window. Oh, she was so good. That's when my parents thought I was a lesbian. I was like, no,
You just love the song. And Courtney Cox was in that video.
Oh, she was epic. Yeah.
I think it was her.
Yeah, it was. Courtney Cox. She's amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, we will have you back on the podcast. You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're beautiful. You're an amazing person. I look up to you. You motivate me every day to be better and like a better comic and a better human being. And I mean that. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I really thank you for sharing everything in the community and making this community better.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Cool. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe, tune into the podcast, give us 5 stars, please. But also give us your constructive criticism back. Just please don't rip on me or my guests. Okay. Thank you. And my appearance, guys. It doesn't help. I'm not getting a nose job anytime soon. No, kidding.
You got a great nose.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. You're so good for my self-esteem. Well, I'm Jewish, so a lot of Jewish girls like to get nose jobs.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, it's like a thing.
Yeah.
It's like a trend. No, but subscribe, rate the podcast, leave a positive review, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hi, this is Brian Morton from the New York Comedy Club, and you are listening to me on Chanel in the City with Chanel Omari.